Part 56. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 551. Bai Xinmi's words can only be listened to, don't take them seriously. Her appearance here is nothing more than Zhang Chen being polite, first courtesy and then force. If Xiao Ming is willing to stay, then it's good for you, me, and everyone. If Xiao Ming is determined to leave, Bai Xinmi will definitely force Xiao Ming to stay. Why did Zhang Chen try his best to improve the strength of his opponent, even at the cost of offending Xiao Ming's master for this? There is naturally a reason behind it. The main plot of The World of My Date with a Vampire 2 is the disagreement between Zhang Chen, Pangu, and his girlfriend Nuo. Nuo has lost hope in mankind and decided to destroy the world and clean up all mankind. Zhang Chen thinks that mankind is okay and quite interesting. He does not approve of Nuo's act of destroying the world. But he loves Nuo deeply. If faced with a choice, he will definitely stand on Nuo's side without hesitation. So Zhang Chen is very contradictory. So he helps Nuo on the one hand, and tries his best to help Kuang Tianyue, Ma Xiaoling, and his group to strengthen their strength on the other. I hope that mankind can stop Nuo from destroying the world with their own strength. Although the artistic conception is not quite the same, he also experienced the situation of loyalty and filial piety cannot be achieved at the same time of many humans. Zhang Chen did not know which sect or faction Xiao Ming came from. But he did not mind offending him. If he could involve another faction to become his enemy, that would be good. Humans would have a better chance of winning. So Zhang Chen would not let Xiao Ming, this baby, go. Probably only Zhang Chen understood about 60% of Xiao Ming's so-called departure. Unlike Meng Meng and others, who thought that Xiao Ming's departure was to return to the mainland. Zhang Chen felt that Xiao Ming's so-called departure was to leave this world. Given Xiao Ming's peculiarity, it was not difficult to understand that the other sect had the ability to cross the world. So he sent out Bai Xinmi, a nine-tailed fox who could control time and space among the five-color messengers. Before coming, Bai Xinmi was a little worried about the need to use force. It was not that she was afraid of Xiao Ming. In terms of combat effectiveness, Xiao Ming was much inferior to Bai Xinmi. But Xiao Ming is a friend of the true ancestor. If I use force to keep Xiao Ming, I will be in trouble if Xiao Ming and Zhang Chen make peace in the future. What if Xiao Ming makes trouble for me in front of the true ancestor? I still have important things to ask the true ancestor. Bai Xinmi was very happy to hear Xiao Ming's willingness to stay. Not only can he complete the true ancestor's mission, but he can also do a favor for the true ancestor's friend. I will be more confident about what I want to do. In a moment, Xiao Ming felt a flash in front of his eyes, and found that he was no longer on the plane. He did not see the true ancestor as Xiao Ming expected, but came to a small bar. Bai Xinmi's voice echoed in his mind. The general idea is that this bar was opened by the true ancestor's friend. The true ancestor hopes that Xiao Ming will live here temporarily. When Kuang Tianyue, Ma Xiaoling, and his party find this place in the future, it will be time for Xiao Ming to continue to participate in this game. The reinforcement Xiao Ming gave to the protagonist team before was already good, and it was time for them to digest it well. Are you Mr. Zhang Xiaoming? I really can't tell what's so special about you, but I, Ma Ding Dang, will take good care of you, the friend of the true ancestor. A woman with more spiritual power than Ma Xiaoling welcomed Xiao Ming. There was also a faint curiosity, wondering why Xiao Ming deserved the true ancestor's attention. She was the owner of this bar, and the bar was called Forget It Bar. The owner was also a person with a story to be able to give such a name. There was also a waitress in the bar, named Demi. Xiao Ming saw through it at a glance, this Demi was clearly a cat demon. Being able to use cat demons to work for him and having such strong spiritual power, he should be a lineage of the Heavenly Master. But as a Heavenly Master, he was actually good friends with the zombie true ancestor, which was also quite magical. Of course, the most magical thing was what happened to him. The last time Xiaoming was trapped in the fairy sword world, it was because he was locked up in the demon locking tower by the sword saint. There was a space blockade in the tower, which prevented the reincarnation space from teleporting him away. The tower was visible and tangible. Xiaoming did not think and feel carefully. He spent all his time trying to find a way out. This time he was trapped, but there was no obvious thing like the demon locking tower. Instead, the nine-tailed fox Bai-Zhen-Mi imposed a layer of space blockade on him. In this way, Xiaoming could seriously feel the power of the space blockade. It was not that there was a bug in the reincarnation space. It was deliberately allowed. It was not a simple matter for the reincarnationist to be trapped by the natives in the reincarnation world. Those who can resist the summons of the reincarnation space are definitely not ordinary characters. It is also a chance for the reincarnationist to be able to let such a plot character take action. The space will not interfere too much. Whether the ending is good or bad depends on the reincarnationist himself. There were reincarnationists who practiced in the Shushan world for thousands of years. Even many reincarnationists died in the reincarnation world because of this. As a VIP, Xiaoming was treated more freely. The space also did not interfere with the interaction between Xiaoming and the plot characters. Perhaps the only real interference was when Xiaoming was beaten to death by Sun Wukong. He was resurrected. A long time passed in the blink of an eye. Since the true ancestor had given instructions, Xiaoming did not contact Meng Meng and the others, but concentrated on working in the bar. That's right, Ma Dingdang didn't allow Xiaoming to eat and drink for free here, so he let Xiaoming work by the way. Xiaoming could certainly conjure up some gold and silver treasures, and even make currency. But that wouldn't be fun. Working with a cat demon is also quite interesting. So Xiaoming worked as a waiter in the bar with peace of mind, while studying the gift Bai-Zhen-Mi gave him, Dragon Trapped Wristband. It was this gift that trapped him in this world. In fact, Bai-Zhen-Mi has the ability to trap Xiaoming directly without borrowing treasures. But Bai-Zhen-Mi saw Xiaoming's interest in spatial power. Although she can't check other people's life energy and judge other people's emotions like Xiaoming. However, Xiaoming is not a cunning person. On the contrary, Xiaoming's joy, anger, sorrow, and happiness are basically on his face. The nine-tailed fox has been in the human world for tens of millions of years, and can know some of Xiaoming's thoughts by observing his words and expressions. I'm just worried that there is no way to flatter Zhang Xiaoming. So Bai-Zhen-Mi specially used the dragon trapping wristband to seal off the space around Xiaoming. Xiaoming can walk around freely in Hong Kong and do whatever he wants. But he can't leave Hong Kong or this world. The time limit is within 5 years. After 5 years, this treasure will belong to Xiaoming. As long as Xiaoming infuses it with spiritual power, whoever wears the dragon trapping wristband will be restricted to the city where they are at that time. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 552. Xiaoming will slowly explore and experiment with the detailed usage of trapped dragon wristband. Infuse the wristband with spiritual power, and after it is activated, the person wearing the wristband can be locked in a certain space. The more spiritual power is input, the longer the lock will last. Of course, the range of activities of the blocked target can also be adjusted. Like Xiaoming, being locked in a city, the range of activities is already quite large. It is still relatively free. In fact, the target can be locked in a community, a building, or a room. It can even be a very small area, so that the other party can't even stretch. That's worse than being in jail. The biggest effect of this treasure for Xiaoming is that he can lock himself in a certain world. If that world is worth staying in for a long time, he can also continue to infuse spiritual power to extend his stay. Now he is trapped in the world of My Date with a Vampire 2 by the wristband for 5 years. It's a bit long. In fact, it will be the end of the world in less than 5 years. This 5-year time limit is the intention of the true ancestor. If Nuwa cannot be stopped from destroying the world, he hopes that Xiaoming can use a few years to help the world recover after the destruction. This is just a backup measure. Zhang Chen did not say it clearly. At this time, Xiaoming and Bai Xinmei have not understood this meaning. In order to let her husband who is now in the world live until after the end of the world, Bai Xinmei has exhausted all her strength. She originally hoped to ask Nuwa or Zhang Chen to show mercy. With her identity, she should be able to save someone. It's just that Nuwa's mind is more determined and not easy to be moved. And Zhang Chen is even more scheming and difficult to guess. Bai Xinmei has never been completely relieved. At this time, Zhang Xiaoming appeared. Although I don't know what's special about this person. But maybe this person has the ability to help me. Bai Xinmei doesn't mind preparing a backup. So Bai Xinmei often takes the initiative to come to the bar to discuss with Xiaoming. In fact, it means to build a good relationship. Xiaoming also likes to communicate with Bai Xinmei. This nine-tailed fox is completely different from the nine-tailed fox that is the main brain of the game on Pangu Star. She is humorous and considerate, and can really make people feel like they are in the spring breeze. This is what a fox spirit is. More importantly, her special ability is to control time and space. Xiaoming spent a lot of effort to learn from her. Bai Xinmei also flattered her with all her strength. Because at this time she had discovered Xiaoming's Kunlun. As a nine-tailed fox that can control time and space, she is very sensitive to this kind of small world. After noticing Xiaoming's Kunlun, she immediately knew that she had found the right way. However, she couldn't explain to Xiaoming about Nuwa's destruction of the world at the moment, so she just tried her best to please Xiaoming. When the destruction of the world is known to everyone in the future, she will definitely get a few safe seats with her current efforts. For this super master, Xiaoming couldn't judge her specific intentions. He only knew that she had something to ask for, and as long as it was not too difficult, Xiaoming was willing to help. Bai Xinmei taught him the ability of time and space, which was a great favor. Of course, this subject is more difficult, and Xiaoming's comprehension is not very good. Although he has gained some insights, the overall progress is not very great. This is because the insect king Lu Xiaoming is sitting on the border of the world at this time, and is also studying the barrier between the worlds. Only then can he have these little insights. Xiaoming concentrates on studying, and the work in the bar can only be arranged by the shadow clones. Sometimes he arranges several at a time. In order to prevent all faces from being the same. The shadow clones also use the transformation technique. They change into the appearance of some movie stars on Pangu Star. This matter naturally cannot be hidden from the boss Ma Dingdang. In her opinion, this spell is too interesting. So she confidently expressed her desire to learn the shadow clone. After dating Bai Xinmei for a long time, Xiaoming naturally knew a special identity of Ma Dingdang true ancestor, former, girlfriend. This is not to be offended. What's more, no matter how Xiaoming looks at it, he thinks that this person should be from the camp of Kuang Tianyu and Ma Xiaoling. So he took advantage of the situation and planted the chakra seed for Ma Dingdang. Let her use ninjutsu. After that, he taught her the shadow clone and transformation technique. Of course, as a native of this world, it is difficult for Ma Dingdang to cultivate chakra, and the recovery speed is very slow. It can only be used as an emergency measure. However, due to the limited amount of chakra, Ma Dingdang can only learn ordinary shadow clones, and cannot learn multiple shadow clones. Ma Dingdang also just regarded this as a game. She didn't know that the end of the world was coming. Xiaoming did not ignore another member of the bar, the cat demon Demi. He took the initiative to teach her magic. Demi, the cat demon, is a special product. It is not a monster that has practiced for hundreds or thousands of years in the fairy sword world. It has not inherited the formal magic. Fighting is all based on instinct. Xiaoming happened to learn a lot of magic in the fairy sword world. It can be said that teaching Demi is a perfect match. Demi is a good child, always thinking about others. After learning magic, she asks Xiaoming if he could also teach magic to her sister Xiaomi. Xiaoming didn't care and agreed readily. Anyway, it's Big Me who will teach, and I don't need to trouble myself. Of course, he also used his mind to track Big Me once, and after seeing Little Me's life energy, he was completely relieved. This is also one of us. In the days that followed, Xiaoming worked in the bar, practicing at the same time, and his life was relaxed and comfortable. Until one night several months later, Ma Dingdang and Demi went out and brought Jin Walai, who had turned into a zombie, and her newborn child back to the bar. It was finally time for Xiaoming to interfere in the plot. Bai Xinmi I once told Xiaoming that Hong Kong would have a lot of good dramas. But Xiaoming was more concerned about learning spatial abilities. During this period, he did not pay attention to what was happening outside. It was just a coincidence that he met Jin Walai in the lobby. Jin Walai and Xiaoming were not very familiar with each other, and they did not meet often. Because of the unfamiliarity, she still admired Xiaoming very much. At the same time, she was also surprised why Xiaoming was still in HK, and actually worked in Ma Dingdang's bar. This miracle doctor is a bit miserable. Ma Dingdang was also surprised to learn that Xiaoming was actually an acquaintance of Kuang Tianyue, Ma Xiaoling, and others. She really didn't know this. So she first pulled Jin Walai to ask a lot of questions about Xiaoming. Only then did she know that Zhang Xiaoming was a miracle doctor from the mainland. His medical skills were superb. Even Alzheimer's disease can be cured. He also taught Ma Xiaoling, Kuang Tianyue, and others how to practice. I also heard about the private tutor's ability to make people laugh. Imagine that scene, Ma Dingdang and Demi were both laughing. I strongly requested Xiaoming to perform again. Xiaoming would rather die than surrender. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 553. After being able to see the miracle doctor again, Jin Future told Xiaoming everything that had happened in the past few days. Due to Xiaoming's previous interference, the strength of Kuang Tianyue, Ma Xiaoling, and others has been greatly improved. They got through some things that were originally twists and turns with ease. For example, the female ghost Sadako wants to activate the blood swastika curse to destroy the world. God bless Xiaoling came to her door and beat her until she was reduced to ashes. The prophet-seeking Situ Fenrin actually gradually realized his conscience and became a good person under Jensen's aura. Later he also turned into a zombie. After Domodo Shizu became a zombie, he had the superpower to control dreams. So much so that God bless Xiaoling was unable to guard against him. He secretly turned Jin Mirai into a zombie. And she even got pregnant in the future in her dream. This is an act that pokes a hole in the sky. Zombies do not belong to the 6 realms of sentient beings, nor do they enter the 6 realms of reincarnation. So zombies shouldn't be pregnant. Once pregnant, the child will be the world-destroying demon star. Naturally, Domodo Jing desperately wanted to keep his child, but God bless Xiaoling, Qiu Shu and others wanted to prevent the birth of the magic star. Naturally, the two sides fought. In the original plot, Domodo Shizu, a 3rd-generation zombie, has better nutrition. Again, morale is high in order to protect his children. His strength is actually stronger than that of Kuang Tianyue, a 2nd-generation zombie. During the battle, he also killed Wang Zhenzhen. It's absolutely heartbreaking. In the end, it was the 2 2nd-generation zombies Kuang Tianyue and Situ Fenrin, plus Ma Xiaoling who took turns to deal with Domodo Jing. But the storyline is different now. Kuang Tianyu accepted Xiaoming's strengthening and nutritional supplements, and his physique has caught up. In addition, I also learned telekinesis and received relatively systematic training. He even learned 3 of the 6 Navy moves. There are a lot more practical skills. Now that his strength is far superior to Domodo Jing, Lan Dali had to take Chino and leave us to help Domodo Jing. Only then can we fight. There are also reincarnations fishing in troubled waters. Indeed, as the true ancestor said, good things happen one after another. The final outcome didn't change much. The magic star has still been born. Domodo Shizu is still dead. However, due to the improvement of our camp's combat effectiveness and the efforts of the reincarnators. When Domodo Jing injured Zhen Zhen, he failed to use his full strength. So Zhen Zhen persisted a little longer, and Situ Fenren arrived in time and turned her into a zombie. Fortunately, this good girl Zhen Zhen did not die. Although becoming a zombie is somewhat unsatisfactory, it is better to die than to live. Zhen's death, which would have brought a huge shock to many people, did not happen. The triangular relationship between Kuang Tianyu, Ma Xiaoling, and Wang Zhenzhen will continue. Now we have to add Situ Fenren, and it has become a four-cornered relationship. Trouble. Because Zhenzhen almost died. Jin Future felt very sorry. It happened that Ma Dingdang was willing to take her in, and in the future he took his son, El Nino, and lived in the bar. Jin Future's understanding of these causes and consequences is not comprehensive enough. So what Xiaoming heard from her was only 60% to 70% of the story. Later, some plots were added from other people's mouths. But he couldn't figure out the whole story after leaving this world. As for Meng Meng, whom Xiaoming is most concerned about, luckily she was not involved in any incident. When it comes to Meng Meng, I can't help but fight against my good friends in the future. Miracle Doctor, I'm not talking about you. After you left, Meng Meng cried several times and became haggard. Since you are in Hong Kong, go back and see her. After hearing what Future said, Xiaoming shook his head. Sighed. She finally accepted the life without me. It will do her no good if I show up again. Forget it. Future is unwilling to give in and wants to persuade him again. In her opinion, Xiaoming has no reason not to accept Meng Meng. However, Ma Dingdang guessed a little bit of the inside story and persuaded Future to stop. This kind of thing can't really be said to be right or wrong. To be honest, Xiaoming can indeed accept Meng Meng and spend her life with her in this world. You can even take Meng Meng to Pangu Star. However, the problem is that Luo Hua is ruthless on purpose. Xiaoming likes dreams to be true, but there is no love between men and women. Jin Daxia has a famous saying, the person you like doesn't like you, what should you do? Xiaoming's situation is just the opposite. After understanding Xiaoming's difficulties, it will be difficult to force things in the future. Let's get down to business. Jin Future felt deeply that his strength was not enough to protect his son, so he also became a disciple of Xiaoming, improving his physical fitness and learning telekinesis. When they talked about these things, they did not carry the newly born magic star on their backs. Thinking that children are ignorant. I didn't expect Mocene to know everything. When he was in Future's belly, he already knew what was happening in the outside world. He also knew that Mirai once wanted to prevent his own birth, and even wanted to kill himself. So I always had a grudge against my mother. I really want to find out. In the future dialogue between Xiaoming and others, El Nino heard his mother's painstaking efforts for the first time and understood the whole story. His mood eased a lot. Later, I heard that my mother took the initiative to learn skills from a teacher in order to protect herself. Most of the knots in his heart were resolved unknowingly. He became more and more attached to his mother. They are also friends in the future. Xiaoming will not hide anything from her. He first gives her an injection of insect evolution injection to transform her into an insect zombie. He also planted the seeds of a small universe and telepathy in her. Women are weak, but motherhood is strong. Xiaoming is very optimistic about Jin Future's potential in the small universe and telepathy. On this day, a dragon suddenly appeared in Xiaoming's circle. It was a big lizard with wings. It was being chased by 3 people. The ones chasing it were Landali, one of the 5 color messengers, and Chino and Levis, the second-generation zombies. This was the first time Xiaoming saw these 3 guys, but he had heard of them for a long time. By Xinmi I had already described the forms of these masters in detail to Xiaoming. Xiaoming thought about it and knew who these 3 were. With such a strong lineup, Xiaoming did not dare to intervene. He let them catch the dragon. It should be that Nino suddenly grew up a lot today. Because he didn't like his mother, he ran outside the bar and saved the dragon Shuang. However, Nino no longer hated his mother, so there was no need to run away from home. So when he grew up, he ran to the future to act like a spoiled child. He missed the pet Shuang. But Xiaoming looked at Landali in the middle of the 3 people, and the more he looked, the more familiar he felt. Suddenly, he slapped his thigh and remembered. Landali and the person in the coffin that Xiaoming found at the bottom of the reservoir are 75% similar. Now it's all clear. The coffin and the person inside, zombie, must be Zhang Shizu's trick. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 554. Xiaoming originally thought that he was an A-level expert. For some reason, he was sealed by the enemy. Now it seems that he is not sealed, but is being cultivated. Perhaps Zhang Shizu wants to cultivate a subordinate who looks like Landali in the real world. The red tide may have come from this way. There were some things that I didn't understand before, but now it seems that there is an answer. Xiaoming used to wonder why He Vuchang always followed Zhang Shizu. It turned out that Zhang Shizu wanted to cultivate an A-level zombie. The underworld must pay attention to such things. However, only a B-level underworld civil servant was sent to pay attention. It is obvious that this is not the first time that Zhang Shizu has done this. It is hard to say which one Landali is. And Zhang Shizu's taste is also very strange. If he cosplays the real ancestor, it seems that he should cultivate second-generation zombies such as Chino and Levis. But he chose to cultivate a zombie that looks like the 5-color messenger. It's a bit out of place. The 5-color messenger was not originally a zombie. Could it be that Zhang Shizu thought the name of the 5 colors messenger was easier to pronounce? Or did he like that there were more girls in it? It is unknown. Let's not speculate on the imagination of S-level masters. The thinking patterns are probably different. What Xiaoming is worried about is that he accidentally took Zhang Shizu's things. What should I do? What? You asked about the leakage of yin qi? If you think about it carefully, it's just a small matter. It's not strange to have a little yin qi leaked when cultivating A-level zombies. Maybe it's intentional. Frequently making some such haunted little things can also train low-level reincarnations. Xiaoming decided to return the coffin after the mission world is over. This thing is hot. And I have to make it clear to Hongqiao. I hope I didn't anger the true ancestor of Pangustar. Although El Nino missed the Shenlong Shuang, he reconciled with his mother Jin Wulai in advance. After a period of intimacy, Wulai began to worry about Nino's growth rate. If he continues to grow at this rate, Nino will soon age and die. So she naturally brought her son to see Xiaoming. After listening to the future explanation, Xiaoming began to have a headache. This Ming doctor is a fake. But Nino's phenomenon probably has nothing to do with medicine. Let's take a look first. Focusing his mind power on his eyes, Xiaoming activated condensation to carefully observe Nino's physical condition. At this time, the genes of the white eyes and Sherry Nan that were previously absorbed by green Xiaoming also began to play a certain effect. Xiaoming could feel that he could see more clearly and could see into Nino's body. But no matter how Xiaoming looked up, down, left, or right, he couldn't see any problems. Nino was very healthy in Xiaoming's eyes. He tried to use the life-saving gold needle. As a result, the gold needle fell off immediately after it was inserted. This also indirectly shows that Nino is really healthy. Seeing that Wulai was about to cry, Xiaoming had to say, "Wulai, don't worry. If it's not a medical problem, then it's a metaphysical problem. Let's go to Uncle Chiu for help." Yes, I forgot Uncle Chiu, then let's go quickly. Nino, come. Wait, I want to go too. At this time, Demi, who had been accompanying, also took the initiative to ask to follow. It can be seen that she also likes Nino. Demi was the first to think of worrying that Nino would grow up too fast. Do kittens like children? The boss's wife Ma Dingdang also agreed. Anyway, there are several shadow clones of Xiaoming helping in the store now, and there is no shortage of shop assistants. The boss's wife actually wanted to go, but this matter is not useful just because there are many people. Everyone persuaded her to stop. On the way, Xiaoming felt that he had crossed paths with several B-level reincarnations. It was not a rubbish. The distance between the two sides was about 10 meters. But they also noticed each other's existence. Xiaoming was stunned. Is there going to be a plot in the bar? It doesn't matter. I have my shadow clones here, and I can probably see it. It is more important to treat Nino. Those reincarnationists also noticed Xiaoming. Xiaoming himself was not conspicuous. But a third-generation zombie and a cat demon were naturally noticed by the reincarnationists. Soon 3 shadows followed. This is not a metaphor, it is really 3 flat shadows that split from a reincarnation and followed along the corner of the wall. Xiaoming nodded to express his appreciation. Not bad, this trick looks interesting. But it is obvious that his group is not worth the other party sending a reincarnation to follow. But Xiaoming does not like to be followed, and after pulling away for a distance, he told Demi to kill those shadows. Xiaoming now knows the situation of Demi and Xiaomi. 60 years ago, they were 2 kittens raised by resurrection. Back then, when Ma Xiaoling's aunt, Madonna, was still a young and beautiful girl. She asked Kuang Tianyu to help eliminate the zombie general. As a result, they lost the battle miserably. Tianyu and Fusion were transformed into second-generation zombies by Zhang Chen, and the Dragon Ball of the Ma family was also broken into 2 halves by Zhang Chen. As a result, it was eaten by 2 kittens, which gave rise to the 2 cat demons today, Big Me and Little Me. The Dragon Ball of the Ma family contains extremely strong spiritual power, so the 2 cat demons who are only a few dozen years old can have powerful spiritual power. It's just that they are very unfamiliar with the application. After all, they have not received orthodox demon education. Now Xiaoming has made up for their shortcomings. The 2 cat demons now have the strength of B level and have the ability to summon dragons. Xiaoming has observed that the attack of the dragon can almost reach the attack power of a level. No wonder it can't deal with the second-generation zombies. 1 A-level attack is certainly not enough to kill an A-level master. It is also because of the loss of the Dragon Ball that the spiritual power of Ma Xiaoling, the descendant of the Ma family, is far inferior to that of her great-aunt Madonna. Fortunately, she can still summon the dragon to fill the scene. The B-level Big Me followed Xiaoming's instructions and jumped over. With 4 or 5 claw strikes, he scratched all 3 shadows. The remaining shadow fragments were collected by Xiaoming in the textbook for research before they disappeared. The reincarnation who was drinking in the bar was shocked and immediately felt it. The companions around him noticed something was wrong and asked hurriedly, "What's wrong, brother?" My shadow clone was killed by that cat demon in just a few hits. Something is wrong. Is the intelligence wrong? The cat demon de me is not that strong. The zombie is not strong at this time. Could it be that humans doing? It's possible. Did you pay attention just now? Could that person be a reincarnation? No, my shadow clone was really scratched to death by the cat demon. The speed and attack power of the cat demon are not the same as the intelligence. That person is not that powerful. Besides, if that person is a reincarnation, he must come to the bar now. Hey, didn't you notice? The waiters in the bar seem to be clones. Everyone, be alert. Be careful of ambushes. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 555. Something happened one after another in the bar, and it was all caused by the shadow clones cancelling themselves one by one and returning to Xiaoming to report. These days, Xiaoming has been staying with Future and Nino at Uncle Chiu's house. Regarding Nino's situation, his uncle was at a loss. After looking through ancient books, I only knew that the demon star might destroy the world. But the details have never been clear. No demon star has ever been truly born in human history. Where is the information to follow? However, he had a guess. He suspected that Nino might absorb the moon's yin energy and grow rapidly every 12th full moon night. As a magic star, Nino is really powerful. He can learn various skills almost by seeing them. And the person is quite easy to talk to. Xiaoming quickly obtained a few drops of demon star's blood, which was absorbed by the insect king. However, it turns out that being a top student cannot be achieved by just absorbing a few drops of blood. Xiaoming's understanding has not seen any improvement. Uncle Chiu decided to set up a magic circle on the next full moon night to block the moon's yin energy, hoping to prevent the rapid aging of the magic star. Of course, just in case, from now on, Uncle Chiu will set up a barrier at home. Strengthening continues every day. If Nino suddenly starts to absorb the moon's yin energy, he can quickly go into the barrier to escape. This is called being prepared. He didn't have much savings in the future, so Uncle Chiu thought he was going to lose money again this time. Unexpectedly, Xiaoming just put 2 gold bars on the table. I beg my uncle for great comfort, I finally have a copy of the coffin. When doing business with Ma Xiaoling before, the coffin already suffered a huge loss. Finally saw big money. Of course, Xiaoming is not at a loss either. The gold bars are worthless to him. Following Uncle Chiu these days, Xiaoming has learned a lot of Taoist techniques from Nan Mao's sect. Especially when it comes to boundaries, Xiaoming feels that he can learn a lot from Uncle Chiu. These 2 gold bars are just a meeting gift. Normally, he would send some spiritual energy to Uncle Chiu from time to time. I beg your uncle to be healthy so that you can learn more. Xiaoming and Future mother and son lived in Uncle Chiu's house for nearly a month. Everyone learns from each other's strengths. Xiaoming learned a lot of Taoism from Uncle Chiu. Uncle Chiu got gold bars and spiritual energy from Xiaoming. Nino is the most powerful. In order to test him, Xiaoming showed him almost all the supernatural energies. He also lived up to expectations. I learned everything without landing. There is no need to plant any super seeds. Xiaoming is so envious and jealous. And the magic star is indeed a magic star. Even if other people learn other supernatural energy systems, they don't have that much dedicated energy in their bodies for them to use. But Demon Star is different. Like Xiaoming, he seems to have either source energy or an energy network that can be converted into each other. Anyway, he can use any kind of energy system's moves. The energy conversion is several times smoother than Xiaoming. This is also a huge blow to people's self-esteem. Over the past month, Xiaoming completely missed the plot of Nuo's arrival. He still relied on the information sent back by the shadow clone to know a little bit about it. It is said that a long time ago, Nuo saw the ugliness of human nature and decided to destroy the world. he exiled his body to an asteroid. The soul remains on Earth and sleeps. The dragons are the guardians of Nuwa's soul. The Yuan Shen absorbed the dragon energy in Zhenlong's body and slowly recovered. Before the world is destroyed, Nuwa Yuan Shen will wake up. And her body will return with the asteroid. When an asteroid hits the Earth, it will be the end of the world. Now that Nuwa's spirit has just awakened, the generals are taking her around Hong Kong. Not for shopping, but to observe the people he is more optimistic about. Kuang Tianyue, Ma Xiaoling, Situ Fenren, and so on. I want her to see the beauty of the world so that she can give up her plan to destroy the world. There happened to be no Qiushu involved, so Nuwa and Zhang Xiaoming did not meet. Her last stop was Tinker Bell's bar. Ma Dingdang and Nuwa chatted for a while. Based on the feeling of the shadow clone after seeing the situation at that time. It's not like Mother Earth chatting with her own creation. It's very much like the main wife came to find the mistress to show off. Nuwa may not have realized it yet, but Ma Dingdang was not pleasing to her eyes. As a goddess, she was supposed to be good and evil. Nowadays, it is unpleasant to look at a human being with good character. In fact, it already explains the problem. She just didn't notice it. During this period, the reincarnators did not dare to do anything in the bar. Instead, we played ping pong outside the bar. I didn't even notice what kind of clone door I hit. In fact, they worked together to destroy a water monster. Seeing the day of the full moon coming. The double barrier between Qiushu and Xiaoming did barely block the moon's yin energy. But Nino, who was trapped in the barrier, looked very hard. On the one hand, I know that absorbing too much yin energy will accelerate aging, on the other hand, I vaguely feel that I can learn some very important information in this process. So Nino sat in the middle of the barrier, his body shaking constantly, as if he couldn't help but jump up every moment. Jin Weiwei was worried to death. He grabbed Xiaoming and begged, "Miracle Doctor, please save Nino. I know you must have a way." "I am willing." Probably because they had been in contact with each other for a long time, Jin Weiwei noticed Xiaoming's not particularly worried look. At this time, of course, Xiaoming was regarded as the last straw. Oh, how pitiful the hearts of parents in the world are. Now that he is here, it is also an opportunity for Nino. Xiaoming raised his hand and took Nino into Kunlun. Originally, Xiaoming wanted to use the wormhole to send Nino to the United States on the other side of the Earth. It is daytime there, and there is no moon's yin qi to absorb. However, the area of this world is restricted by the reincarnation space, and is limited to a small area near Hong Kong. The other side of this Earth is other reincarnation worlds, and it is impossible to send it there. Half of the space in Guangmingding is full of strong yin qi. Xiaoming did not dare to put Nino in. He was worried that he would age and die in an instant. In desperation, Xiaoming could only use Kunlun. The plan was that Silver Xiaoming would take Nino into Kunlun. When he got to Green Xiaoming, he would throw him out. There are other worlds over there, and there is no moon's yin qi to use. This should be okay. However, what no one expected was that after Nino entered Kunlun, he stayed in it. The energy inside Kunlun is very full. There are 3 spirit beads in it, and it has absorbed many high-level treasures. Nino can safely absorb energy here and open his memory without the side effect of premature aging. It is 100 benefits for Nino. The only one who suffered a serious loss was Xiaoming. Xiaoming could take him in, but he had no ability to kick him out. Nino stayed in Kunlun for a day and a night. You can imagine how much energy he absorbed from Kunlun. Xiaoming felt that Kunlun had shrunk a bit. Illusion. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 556. Nino now understands a little bit, and knows that it is not good to absorb other people's energy like this. It's just that the energy in Kunlun is too abundant, and he really can't bear to go out. If he refuses to come out, Xiaoming can't do anything to him. In the end, it was because Kunlun couldn't bear Nino's power that was close to the 8th level S level, so he kicked him out. Looking at him hiding behind Jinwalai, with an embarrassed and innocent expression, Xiaoming was speechless. Xiaoming only knew that Nino absorbed a lot of Kunlun's reserve energy, but how much it was, and how much of the 3 spirit beads it accounted for, it was completely impossible to judge for the time being. Such a supermaster suddenly appeared between heaven and earth. The 5-color messenger and the 2nd generation zombies didn't feel it yet. But Zhang Chen and Nuwa clearly sensed it. The task of Demon Star Nino is actually to open Pangu's tomb and create conditions for the destruction of Nuwa. The current Demon Star is so powerful that Nuwa suddenly felt an unprecedented sense of crisis. The whole god fell powerlessly into Zhang Chen's arms. With Zhang Chen's speed, of course he would not let Nuwa fall to the ground. Zhang Chen hurriedly paid attention to what happened. This time, it turned out that it was the fellow Taoist he had retained before who caused the trouble. Zhang Chen really wanted Zhang Xiaoming to improve the strength of the human side, but he never thought that Xiaoming could do this. He immediately raised the demon star to a level second only to himself and Nuwa. Although he was not afraid, Nuwa was only walking on the earth with her soul now. If the body of the god was not there, if she met the demon star, she might really be killed by the demon star. The most terrifying thing was that the combat power of the demon star was still in the stage of rapid growth. He learned a lot of tricks from Xiaoming. Apart from anything else, if the demon star raised the small universe to the 8th sense of Alaya consciousness, then it would not be easy to kill. Although Zhang Chen had good intentions for humans and hoped that Nuwa would not destroy the world, but he never wanted Nuwa to die. If he had to choose one of the two, he would give up humans and stand firmly on the side of Nuwa. Now Xiaoming has created an enhanced version of the demon star, which may threaten Nuwa's life. Zhang Chen can't sit still. Zhang Chen's original plan was to improve the combat effectiveness of the human side on the one hand. On the other hand, he actively persuaded Nuwa. Let her realize that humans still have merits and there is no need to kill them all. If Nuwa can cancel her plan to destroy the world, everyone will be happy. If Nuwa still wants to destroy the world by force, then humans and Nuwa will fight. Maybe they can stop Nuwa's destruction. Anyway, Zhang Chen will be the last one to protect Nuwa. However, the appearance of the enhanced version of the demon star broke Zhang Chen's confidence in his invincibility. If it weren't for the variable Xiaoming, he would choose to kill the demon star directly now. The person who tied the bell must be the one who tied it. Since it was Xiaoming who caused the trouble, Xiaoming will come to collect the bottom. If he can't collect it, I'm sorry. So Zhang Xiaoming was instantly moved in front of Nuwa and Zhang Chen. Let's talk openly. Only then did Nuwa tell Zhang Chen and Xiaoming the real situation. The destruction of the world is irreversible. It can be understood that when Nuwa decided to destroy the world, she made the most serious oath. This is the oath of God. Human oaths can be exchanged for powerful telekinesis, not to mention the oath of God. On the day of the destruction of the world, Nuwa's body will be carried by an asteroid and collide with the Earth. That asteroid is actually irrelevant. There are many ways to deal with it. But Nuwa's body hitting the Earth is not something that anyone can reverse. Even Zhang Chen, who is Pangu, can't do it. The only way is to destroy Nuwa's Yuan Shen in advance. Without the guidance of Yuan Shen, Nuwa's body will no longer rush to the Earth. The crisis of destruction will naturally be resolved. And this thing has to be done quickly. Once it is too late, even if Nuwa's Yuan Shen is destroyed, the asteroid is close enough to the Earth. The destruction of the world is still inevitable. However, destroying Nuo's Yuan-Shen is something that Zhang Chen absolutely cannot allow. At this time, Nuo has not yet realized that there is still a good side in human nature, and her heart to destroy the world is still very determined. Of course, Nuo also admits that there are still many good people among humans. Especially after meeting the protagonist team. It's just that the proportion of bad people among humans is too high. There is nothing to do about it, everyone has different standards. From Nuo's perspective, she thinks many ordinary people are not good things. And humans are created by Nuo. Even Xiaoming does not deny that Nuo is really qualified to destroy the world. So Xiaoming changed his perspective. Mother Earth, do you think that destroying the world is really the best way? Why not change it to judgment? Xiaoming said seriously. Huh? What do you mean by this? Nuo is very strange, destroying the world is the result of her judgment. Mother Earth, I wonder if you have heard of the Last Judgment in Western Christian doctrine. Nuo looked puzzled. This is not surprising. When she decided to destroy the world, it was still during the reign of Qin Shi Huang. Jesus Christ was not born at that time. Xiaoming briefly said that there would be a great judgment at the end of the world. Good people go to heaven and bad people go to hell. After hearing this, Nuo was also confused. Why didn't she think of it at the beginning? Well, how can I put it? Nuo is a new god born after the creation of the world. She doesn't have much experience in all aspects. She tends to go to extremes. In many worlds, young new gods have this problem. They can't tolerate any sand in their eyes. After being hurt several times by human behavior, she hastily decided to destroy the world. She planned to create new humans after destroying the world. Originally, her reckless behavior should have been stopped by Pangu, the great god of this world. However, Pangu in this world is Zhang Chen. For some reason, he lost the memory of Pangu's family and fell in love with Nuo at first sight. Even the name Zhang Chen was given to him by Nuo. It means Nuo's good general and loyal minister. The positioning was wrong at the beginning, so that it ended up in such an unmanageable situation. God is God, and Mother Earth will not force excuses for her mistakes. Instead, she took the initiative to ask Xiaoming for advice. It's simple. You can use Bai's Inmi's ability to control time and space. Now start judging humans. You can discuss the specific standards. All those who pass the judgment and do not have to die can be sent to the earth after the apocalypse, where life has been restored. These people will recreate human civilization. This kind of thing can even happen more often. The proportion of good people among humans will increase. And because of the fear of the end of the world, there will be fewer humans who choose to do evil, right? Xiaoming himself did not quite believe this. But he felt that this was much better than the extinction of all humans. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 557. I have felt the power of generals. Xiaoming doesn't think that humans will win when they fight against generals. Although the magic star is powerful, it is actually limited. Even if the magic star reaches S level, it successfully kills Nuo. So what? The most likely possibility is that the general loses control and explodes. Work hard to complete the legacy of Nuo, the mother of the earth. In the end, it will be up to him to destroy the world with his own hands. It is estimated that he will do it more thoroughly than Nuo. Xiaoming's plan is just an introduction. Save the Kinder humans first. During this time, the generals would continue to persuade Nuo. It is very possible that most ordinary people can be saved in the future. Because most ordinary people are not bad and have their own shining points. If we work hard in the end, in addition to those big evil people, many human beings who are only a little bad may be able to save their lives. This isn't a particularly brilliant idea. But it was enough for Nuo to adopt and satisfy the generals. However, there is a problem. It is not a matter of standards for judging good and evil. Nuwa and the generals are still confident in that regard. The real problem is that Bai Xinmi's ability to control time and space is limited. Send humanity to the end of the world 10 years at most. At that time, the world was still too desolate. At the end of the world, humans will be almost completely wiped out, and not much of the animals and plants will survive. If it is not reformed properly and a large number of people are sent there, everyone will starve to death together. The burden of transforming the future planet inevitably falls on Xiaoming's shoulders. Dig the hole and fill it yourself. Since it was Xiaoming's idea, he must be responsible to the end. Epsilon equals Omicron asterisk. Alas, if I talk too much, I will have to do hard work for several years. However, being able to save most human lives, Xiaoming feels that this is considered a great merit. According to the development of the original plot, almost all the protagonist team died in the end, but Nuwa and the generals were also eliminated, and the end of the world did not happen. If Xiaoming knew this, I don't know what he would think. In fact, Xiaoming can also think of it. After all, the world of reincarnation is based on film and television dramas from parallel worlds. The endings of film and television dramas are predictable. It is estimated to be an ending in which justice finally triumphs. But it is also certain that many good people will die. The supporting characters are all dead, and the protagonist is too embarrassed to make the finale. This is a common routine in literary and artistic works. If Xiaoming really had a choice, he might still choose the current method. The general and Nuwa lived in the building of the Nito group where Domodo Shizuzu was once employed. Bai Xinmi closed the surrounding space so that no one could disturb them. At this time, she arranged a group of subordinates to invite all the protagonists who were worthy of their names. Probably to take care of Xiaoming's face, he actually invited Meng Meng here. You must know that Xiaoming is actually a little afraid of seeing Meng Meng now and doesn't want to give her false hope. It is true for generals and ministers that they will not open or pick up any pot. That's not right. With the general's understanding of human nature, how could he not know the fishiness involved? This guy must have done it on purpose. He deliberately wanted to torment Xiaoming and vent his anger on his girlfriend. Nuwa's plan to destroy the world was implemented for more than 2,000 years, and finally caused Xiaoming to mix up and become a different person. And there are still a lot of troublesome things to do next. The judgment of all mankind will be carried out in less than a year. Even God is a bit frightened by the workload. Mother Earth is still a spiritual body, so she will definitely be very tired. It is normal for Zhang Chen to feel sorry for his girlfriend and to cause some trouble for Xiaoming just to watch the fun. I could sense the gossipy intentions of the generals and even Bai Xinmi and others. Xiaoming had a headache for no reason and was not a good person. Meng Meng was the first one invited by Bai Xinmi. Seeing Xiaoming, the girl couldn't stop crying. Although time can dilute everything. But Meng Meng and Xiaoming have only been separated for a few months. Not only did this little time not dilute Meng Meng's feelings, but it brewed to a very intense point. Next, if Meng Meng continues to be unable to see Xiaoming for a long time, then Xiaoming will gradually fade away from her superficial consciousness and be buried in her subconscious, just like the feeling of first love. However, she happened to see Xiaoming at this time. That hot emotion suddenly found its target. It broke out more violently. Meng Meng clung to Xiaoming almost immediately. No matter what, I don't want to separate. She felt that she had seen her feelings clearly, and no matter what happened in the future, no matter whether Xiaoming accepted her or not, she would never leave Xiaoming again. So, when gods and humans started formal negotiations, Meng Meng still hung on Xiaoming, determined not to leave. This pair of live treasures poured a lot of cold water on the tense atmosphere between the two parties. Seeing the two of them, many people couldn't help but laugh. This is a round-table negotiation. There was a circle of people sitting around a huge round table. They will determine the next fate of mankind. Sitting at the head of the round table were Xiaoming and Meng Meng. Xiaoming is responsible for hosting the meeting as a third party, an intermediary. Meng Meng is responsible for the funny. On the right-hand side is the lineage of gods, Nuwa, Zhongchen, Lan Dali, Heiyu, Hongqiao, Bai Xinmei, Huangzi, Kino, and Levis. On the left-hand side are human representatives, Ma Xiaoling, Kuang Tianyuo, El Nino, Situ Fenren, Wang Zhenzhen, Ma Dingdang, Kuang Fuxian, Qiu Shu, and Jin Wulai. De Mi, and Kim Jong-zhong are considered to be present and are not eligible to serve. Ma Dana is already a ghost and will not participate in this scene. Of course, both De Mi and Jin Zhengzhong came to attend because of Ma Xiaoling and Ma Dingdang. Little Mi didn't even know this existed. There is no controversy on the god's side. However, most of the representatives on the human side are not human beings, there are so many zombies. If the government of any country in the world knew about it, they would probably not think that these people were qualified to negotiate on behalf of mankind. Unfortunately, in the eyes of God, the so-called senior government officials are not worthy of the spotlight. It is up to them to choose those who are truly qualified to decide the fate of mankind. There is no need to elaborate on the specific process of the negotiations. The strength of both parties is obvious. The final result is almost certain. The general's strength overwhelmed the entire audience. It is still possible for humans to kill Nuwa, but it is impossible to stop the generals. Even Demon Star, whose strength has greatly increased, has to admit this. This is the prerequisite for this negotiation. Although the human side definitely wants to prevent Nuwa from destroying the world. However, now that Nuwa is opening up her net, if she wants to let some human beings go, the human side must support her. And we must strongly support and actively participate in it. Otherwise, if God's side fails to do its job, mankind will be in misery. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 558. Finally, before the end of the world, humans and gods may still have to fight. But before that, there are still several things to do, and both sides need to work together. The first step is that both sides promise not to attack each other before the decisive battle. For this reason, Zhang Chen specially put a blood mark on everyone. Those who dare to fight each other before the decisive battle will be attacked by the blood mark. Of course, Nuwa and Zhang Chen are exceptions. For the sake of balance, the magic star does not need a blood mark. Out of respect for Xiaoming, Zhang Chen did not intend to put a blood mark on Xiaoming. But Xiaoming is so wretched, with a strong sense of crisis, and insisted that Zhang Chen give him one. Without the blood mark, he can attack at will, but it also means that others can also attack him. The human side can still be assured, but if the five-color messenger and the second-generation zombie attack him, Xiaoming dare not guarantee that he can save half of his life. Xiaoming estimates that they have the ability to kill Xiaoming's body, but they should not be able to attack the insect king Green Xiaoming outside the N-worlds. But who knows if these people have any special tricks? Xiaoming didn't dare to take risks, so he got a blood seal for self-defense. It's better to be prepared. When he got the blood seal, Xiaoming could feel some malicious intent retreating from him. Humph, someone is really plotting against him. The second step is to split the troops into two groups. One group is the trial group headed by Zhang Chen, Nuwa, and Mo Xing, and their function is a bit like the Immigration Bureau. They judged humans in the world before the end of the world. They determined the candidates who can immigrate after the end of the world. And humans will hardly notice the process of this trial. Along with them are two men from the five-color messengers, Lan Dali and Huang Zi. These two have a deep study of the evil thoughts in human nature. And the six representatives of humans, Ma Dingdang, Qiu Shu, Ma Xiaoling, Kuang Tianyuo, Kuang Fuxian, and Jin Wulai. Most of them are mature guys. The rules of the trial will be provided by these people, but the Mother of the Earth, Nuwa, and Zhongchen will make the final decision. In fact, whether the final battle will be fought in the future depends mainly on the standard of the trial. If the standard is too strict, the human side will feel that a large number of people should not die. Then a war will break out. If the standard is relatively loose, those killed by doomsday will all die. The final decisive battle will not be fought. Among these human representatives, there is no saint type. As long as Nuwa's standard is acceptable, they basically won't bite and let go. Kuang Tianyu and Huang Zi are both policemen, and their police experience can provide a lot of reference opinions for the trial. In fact, they are good brothers in the same police station. When Kuang Tianyu learned that Huang Zi was actually one of the 5-color messengers, his expression was also quite stunned. There is a feeling of "I didn't expect that you, a guy with thick eyebrows and big eyes, are also an enemy." Qiu Shu, Ma Dingdang, and Ma Xiaoling are all heavenly masters, and they can also be regarded as people with some police functions. They can also provide help. Mo Xing is in the trial group purely out of necessity, because his energy level is too high. Bai Xinmi's spatial ability can't transfer him to after Doomsday. This is similar to the fact that Xiaoming's Kunlun cannot contain the demon star. Otherwise, Zhang Chen would definitely throw this guy who can threaten New Wa to the end of the world. Since Nino is in the trial group, Jin Wulai must be here. She can't bear to be away from her son. Kuang Fuxian was assigned to this group because his ability is more suitable for playing a role in the trial. The other group is naturally the future construction group headed by Zhang Xiaoming. Meng Meng is naturally in the group. Among the 5-color messengers, Hong Chao, Heiyu, Bai Xinmi, the second-generation zombie Chino, and Levis are all responsible for helping Xiaoming. To be honest, almost none of these subordinates of New Wa and Zhang Chen are willing to destroy the world. No matter what their character is, at least they think that it is fun to have humans. If all humans are gone, the world will be meaningless. On the human representative side, Situ Fenren and Wang Zhenzhen are responsible for assisting Xiaoming in building the world 6 years after the end of the world. Wang Zhenzhen is kind-hearted. If she joins the trial group, she will definitely not be on the same side with New Wa. It would be better for her to be placed in the construction group. Situ Fenren naturally followed Zhenzhen. Although Wang Zhenzhen was a third-generation zombie, she had no interest in fighting. So her combat power was very low, and Situ Fenren of course had to provide protection at any time. After being resurrected from the dead once, after a period of baptism, Wang Zhenzhen let go of her love for Kuang Tianyu, and her relationship with Situ Fenren was just beginning. She actually loved Kuang Tianyu as a human, not Kuang Tianyu, the zombie grandfather pretending to be his grandson. And the human Tianyu had died before Xiaoming entered this world. As for the arrangement of those non-staff personnel, such as the 2 cat demons and Jin Zhengzhong, they were casual and could join any group they wanted. As a result, the 3 of them were all in the trial group because of Nino, Tianyu, and Xiaoling. No one was willing to help Xiaoming. Xiaoming was building a new home for the future of mankind in this world. In his group, only Meng Meng was a human. The others were not. It was really that the emperor was not anxious, but the eunuch was anxious. But this is not surprising. In a post-apocalyptic world, ordinary humans would not survive for more than a few days. These non-humans are really suitable. Meng Meng had to rely on Xiaoming's mental shield for protection the whole time. Hong Kong, 6 years after the apocalypse, is full of ruins and rubble. The sandstorms at the beginning of the apocalypse have calmed down a lot, but they are still not small. The sun in the sky is dim and unclear. This environment is worse than on Mars. In theory, Xiaoming needs to transform the entire Earth. But in fact, the apocalypse in the reincarnation world only involves the Hong Kong area. Other regions are imaginary. It is almost a fantasy to want to use 4 years to transform Hong Kong after the apocalypse into a base suitable for the survival of millions of people. Mr. Zhang, it's up to you now. Chino's tone is half mocking and half expecting. Although this guy is not a good thing, he has killed countless people since he became a zombie. But he sincerely hopes that Jiang Xiaoming can transform the world after the apocalypse. It's just that the difficulty of this job seems too high. In his opinion, even if Mother Earth or General Minister takes action, it will take a lot of effort. Jiang Xiaoming, a guy with ordinary appearance and ordinary strength, how can he take on such a great task? Hearing what Chino said, Meng Meng, who seemed to be the real girlfriend, hadn't refuted it yet, but by Xinmi I was the first to express her dissatisfaction. Chino, if you don't have the ability, don't say sarcastic words. Lord Zhang knows what's going on. She wanted to save someone she loved. She was also the one who hoped Xiaoming could succeed the most. She couldn't even stand Chino's complaints. She was afraid that Chino's special ability was Crow's Mouth. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 559. Kino just said what was in his mind. Not only him, but the other people were also half believing and half doubting. Only Xiaoming himself was confident. In the cruel environment of the locking demon tower, an ecosystem was established. Not to mention now. But then again, why do I always have to do this kind of thing? Xiaoming couldn't help but wonder. Did he choose the wrong skill tree? Xiaoming had a plan on how to build an ecosystem. The real trouble is the wind and sand that cover the sky and the sun, which prevents the surface from receiving enough sunlight. Without light, it is difficult for plants to grow. Without plants, animals can't survive. And Xiaoming doesn't know whether this kind of windy and sandy weather will last for a long time. It is necessary to prepare post-apocalyptic humans for a long-term struggle with the harsh natural environment. First of all, one or more huge and solid survival bases are needed. The base must have enough ecosystems to provide food. It is also necessary to prepare enough energy. With energy, the seawater filtration system can be supported, so that people can have fresh water to use, and crops also need water sources. Hong Kong itself does not actually have these basic living conditions. Before the doomsday, a large amount of living resources need to be transported from the inland to Hong Kong every day. After the doomsday, this resource will definitely be gone, so Hong Kong needs to be self-sufficient. It is not easy for a small place with a population of several million to be self-sufficient. This is why this matter is difficult. Xiaoming's initial plan is to build two bases to cooperate with each other. One is a fixed base on land. The other is a mobile base drifting on the sea. Or it can be said to be a movable island. The first thing to build is a fixed base, and the basic idea is the same as in the demon locking tower. Use alchemy to build a huge hemispherical dome to protect the base. At the same time, the outer periphery of the dome uses the barrier technique learned from Uncle Chiu. Prevent the pervasive wind and sand. The spiritual power consumed by the barrier technique will be borne by the human Tianqi and zombies. The yin energy of zombies is also okay. There is no need to worry about this barrier. As long as humans don't commit suicide, they will be abandoned by Nuwa again. This little spiritual power can be easily handled by Zhang Chen and Nuwa. It will be easier to deal with the wind and sand if the wind and sand are isolated. Xiaoming divided the base into areas. There are residential areas, which are for people to live in as the name suggests. There are factory areas, which are responsible for providing some daily necessities. There are areas for growing crops, which are responsible for providing basic food. There are areas responsible for providing fresh water resources. Of course, there must be administrative areas. There must also be areas responsible for raising insects. After the end of the world, a large part of the protein source for humans will depend on these insects. The base has more than a dozen underground structures and 5 or 6 above-ground structures. There is still enough space. The problem lies in energy. To be honest, Xiaoming does not know nuclear power technology. He can only use hacker energy to fill the tank temporarily. Even if he knows nuclear power technology, Xiaoming still needs to use alchemy to provide nuclear material resources, and there is also the risk of radiation. It is more convenient to use hacker energy directly. Due to the serious lack of light after the end of the world, crops need artificial light to illuminate and maintain growth. Simply set the cultivated area to be closed. As long as these things work normally, a fixed base will be enough to sustain the survival of 200,000 to 300,000 people. Xiaoming plans to build about 10 bases of this type in Hong Kong. Why not gather together to build a super large base? Xiaoming mainly considers not putting all the eggs in one basket. Dispersing to multiple bases is more suitable for human survival. Of course, it cannot be too scattered. The base cannot be too small, otherwise the resistance to environmental changes will be too low. In Xiaoming's opinion, 200,000 to 300,000 per base is quite suitable. The most troublesome thing is that it is still unknown how many people in Hong Kong can pass the judgment of Nuwa and immigrate to the future. What if Nuwa's standards are too strict? Maybe there are only 200,000 to 300,000 people who can pass the judgment in the whole of Hong Kong. In that case, a fixed base will be enough. However, Xiaoming cannot only consider this worst case. He still needs to make more preparations for the good. This cannot wait until the number of immigrants is completely determined before making plans and construction. By that time, the daily will be cold. At the same time, the rest of the space outside the base cannot be wasted. Xiaoming will try to arrange some solar power stations, wind power stations and other infrastructure. These facilities are a beneficial supplement to the energy of the base. The humans in the fixed base need to be responsible for maintaining them. It is definitely not possible to rely on the hacker ore left by Xiaoming. The amount of ore is limited after all, and one day it will be exhausted. I hope that the fixed base will gradually achieve self-sufficiency without using hacker energy. In addition, Xiaoming plans to build the area outside the base like a maze with tall stone walls and stone pillars. Of course, it is not a real maze, and the purpose is not to let people get lost in it. Instead, these obstacles are used to block the wind and sand layer by layer, so that the wind and sand inside the city can be reduced as much as possible. Then there will be many areas that can be slowly transformed and used, and even inhabited. If you are lucky, the wind and sand will stop within a few years, and everything will naturally come back to life. At that time, even without the base, humans can survive. If the luck is bad and the sandstorms don't stop for decades, then humans will stay in various bases honestly. With the protection of the barrier, there is no shortage of living resources. Of course, they must limit the population. The base will always have an upper limit. In addition, Hong Kong is still too small. Xiaoming also plans to build a mobile base at sea as a supplement to the fixed base. The mobile base at sea is like a super large aircraft carrier. It will also be a self-sufficient small ecological circulation system. However, the area of crops will be greatly reduced, and food will mainly come from fishing. It is hard to say how many fish can survive in the sea after the end of the world. But the mobile base can raise fish in the sea water, or cultivate algae, etc. After the end of the world, the Hong Kong port was filled with countless shipwrecks, and even a few warships. These are the materials for Xiaoming to build a mobile base. Moreover, there are rich resources in the deep sea that can be extracted and vast space that can be used. Fixed bases can only be used to a dozen underground floors, less than 100 meters deep. Mobile bases can use hundreds of meters of space under the water surface. If the technical conditions were not bad, Xiaoming would actually like to build an underwater survival base. Xiaoming thinks that with the combination of a fixed base on the ground and a mobile base on the sea, it should be able to guarantee the survival of humans after the apocalypse. Of course, this still needs to be tested in reality. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 560. You will regret not having learned enough when you need it, and you will know how difficult things are only after you have experienced them. Building shelters and bases for humans is a world of difference from what we did before in the Locking Demon Tower and Mars. The main difference is the different service objects. In the Locking Demon Tower and Mars, there are only insect humans and monsters, and their survival ability is far superior to that of humans. As long as they can provide some food, they can survive. They rarely get sick, and they don't even need clothes. In fact, even if Xiaoming doesn't take action, these non-humans can still find a way to survive. Of course, there will definitely be great losses. Compared with insect humans and monsters, humans are too fragile. The requirements for living materials are also more and more complicated. Food, clothing, housing, and transportation must be solved. Food is not only necessary, but also needs to meet the various vitamins and trace elements needed by the human body. Moreover, humans also have many requirements for spiritual life. Without a certain degree of entertainment, humans will not look like humans even if they are alive. Xiaoming is not very satisfied with his initial design. However, in the eyes of the five-color messengers and zombies, this is already quite good. Seeing Xiaoming and hundreds of shadow clones busy in an orderly manner, these people's doubts were gradually dispelled. It felt as if this Lord Zhang Xiaoming had done the same thing before and was familiar with it. So they all excitedly joined the construction. This is not only the future of mankind, but also their future. By Xinmi I brought black rain and red tide to transport things from the modern world to the end of the world. It's not possible for Xiaoming to make everything with alchemy. Many things are ready-made. In addition, there are some things that Xiaoming doesn't know how to make, and he has never looked at them carefully. Money is not a problem for these people at all, so they bought a lot of necessities. Canned food that can be kept fresh for a long time, daily necessities, various household products, as well as tools and production lines for producing these things. Because of their needs, Hong Kong's economy suddenly prospered a lot. During this period, Xiaoming and Meng Meng returned to the modern world once and met with Nuhua Zhangchen. Report the progress of the work in detail. Of course, before Xiaoming came back, the five-colored messenger reported Xiaoming's work in detail several times. Mother Earth was very satisfied with Xiaoming's initial results and gave Xiaoming 2 more five-colored divine stones. Xiaoming thought that after 4 years, he would be able to collect a sack of 5-colored divine stones. In the future, if there is a hole in the sky in any world, he can go and repair it. By then, the legend of Xiaoming repairing the sky will spread in that world. It's quite interesting to think about it. Unexpectedly, Meng Meng suddenly asked the true ancestor to turn her into a zombie at this time. Nuhua Zhangchen and Xiaoming were both surprised. Human physique is too weak, and she needs Xiaoming's protection all the time in the doomsday world. Although it feels very warm, Meng Meng also feels that she is holding Xiaoming back over time. At least becoming a zombie is no longer a burden, and it can also help Xiaoming practically. Meng Meng is a kind girl. At first, her mind was filled with love, and other things went in one ear and out the other. She didn't pay attention at all. After a long time, her emotions calmed down, and she naturally knew what Xiaoming was doing. It was natural for her to want to help as she was kind. And the best way to really help Xiaoming was to become a zombie. Nuhua was touched by the kindness of human beings again. She doubted that her decision to destroy the world was too hasty. Zhang Chen was of course willing to help others. He always believed that the real source of power of zombies was love. Meng Meng was a loving person. If she became a zombie, she would have the potential to become a true ancestor. It was rare for such a being to voluntarily become a zombie. If it was not voluntary, becoming a zombie would torture a good person into a madman. In the end, he was conquered by Nan Maobama. Only good people like Kuang Tianyu and Kuang Fuxian survived. But they were also tortured. Meng Meng asked to become a zombie, and Zhang Chen was very happy. "Child, it's great that you have this wish. You will definitely become a better zombie than me. But this matter depends on his intention," he said, and gave Meng Meng a look. The he in Zhang Chen's words was of course Zhang Xiaoming. Out of respect for Xiaoming, if Xiaoming disagrees, he cannot meet Meng Meng's request. Zhang Xiaoming's appearance solved his biggest problem, the conflict of ideas with Nuwa. If Xiaoming hadn't appeared, no matter how the matter ended, they would have a thorn in their hearts. This is the result that Zhang Chen never wants to see. Xiaoming's idea of changing the doomsday to judgment is really too fast. In fact, other reincarnations can also think of this plan. There are even other options, such as building spaceships to send humans to space to hide. Unfortunately, they are not qualified to talk to Zhang Chen and Nuwa. They don't have the execution ability to turn ideas into reality. In addition, their mission time is limited, and Zhang Chen will not use space blockade for these reincarnations. To be honest, with Zhang Chen's imagination, he once thought of this method vaguely. But there is a problem: only Nuwa and Zhang Chen have the ability to build a survival base after the doomsday. However, Bai Xinmi's spatial ability cannot transfer him or Nuwa to after the doomsday. There is no way to build a shelter in advance. Without a good living environment, even if a group of good people are sent to doomsday, the ending will be very terrible. Either they starve to death collectively, or they give up their humanity for survival, to the point of cannibalism. Rather than that, it is better to let them die on the doomsday. So subconsciously, he ruled out this option. Zhang Chen's first choice is to persuade Nuwa to give up the plan of destroying the world. The second choice is to enhance the power of mankind and prevent Nuwa from destroying the world. In the end, he will save Nuwa by being a hero. The last resort is to try to transform more humans into zombies before the doomsday. Zombies can survive after the doomsday. But a world full of zombies is not what Zhang Chen wants to see. It can be imagined that when Zhang Chen knew that the destruction of the world was irreversible, he was quite depressed. At this time, Zhang Xiaoming fell from the sky. Xiaoming's strength was not strong, so the nine-tailed fox could send him to the end of the world. Xiaoming has many means, and he can build a survival base for humans in advance after the doomsday. This person is simply here to solve the problem between Zhang Chen and Nuwa. In Zhang Chen's eyes, Zhang Xiaoming is much more beautiful than Lin Daiyu. So he could have directly transformed Meng Meng into a second-generation zombie, but he still took the initiative to ask Xiaoming for his opinion. Meng Meng would definitely follow Xiaoming's lead, so she blinked at Xiaoming with her cute big eyes, with a pleading look on her face.